stand by. So they're doing what
Mm.
they're doing what their commander in chief told them to do. Looks like we're
He
live.
sure
Looks
did
like
say
we're
that.
live, brother. Peace, King. How you feeling?
Peace, King. Salute to you. I'm feeling blessed and high favorite. I mean,
That's it.
first and foremost, shout out to the entire world. A fan, first episode of 2021.
For
It's an
sure.
honor and a distinction to share this platform with you. Coffee and Convo is back with the two kings. First, I just want to say to everyone who sees this broadcast, please like the broadcast. Please share it to your network, to your friends. And throughout this broadcast, please leave comments. We represent the community. We want to dialogue with you, and we've come to shed some light on some topics. And King, how you feeling today, brother?
I feel great, brother. I feel great. Happy New Year to you all. Happy New Year, Facebook. Happy New Year, Tava Nation. Let's have a great one. Do you see the madness on the news today, brother? That's all I want to know. Do you see the madness?
I mean, what's going on in them streets out there in DC? Um, hey, you said it. I don't want to steal your thunder, but you said their commander in chief. He
Yeah.
gave the nod a couple months ago. He told him what he
Yes.
tell him, Ray?
Yes. President Trump told him to stand by. He
Stand
told him to
by.
stand by. President-elect Joe Biden asked them to ask his supporters to stand down so that this wouldn't happen. Because of the events yesterday, it seemed like the Democrats then secured the House or they secured the Senate, and they showing out. They will not succeed. They are trying to do everything that they can to avoid this inauguration to certify the new president of the United States, and it's just a madhouse, and it's a whole lot of mixed feelings about it because naturally, many out there feel like if these were people of color, it would be a whole different outcome already. Although the latest news is saying that the National Guards are on their way, it's a madhouse out there. And I don't think that I've ever seen it in my lifetime where they actually storm the Senate House and actually start acting like that. Like you literally see the
I
supporters
know.
fighting the
You
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 see
can
them.
see it
They're
out there.
fighting the
Let me
they're
ask you
fighting the
this:
police.
would you being having a degree in political science, I
Okay.
mean, what does this look like from a historical content? Have we seen something like before? Is this the first president to not concede and have a part of the country rally behind him and cause this, and do this testing?
Well, obvious, it's definitely not the first time in consideration of the history of this country. It's definitely not the first time, but as of late, as of the last couple of decades, um, I would say this is kind of like new. You're really seeing anarchy out there right now. And we've been seeing
Wow.
it since this latest president has been in office. We've been seeing a lot of things from the old school that we haven't seen in many years. There are always going to be disagreements. There has been disagreements throughout all of the presidencies that we've been alive, but there has never been nothing to this magnitude where they're going just wild like this. And it's just like it's just a lot. It's just a lot. So I don't want to make the show all about that. That is what it is. But I do want to send a shout out to the brother that actually won in Georgia yesterday, which is probably why so many of the Trump supporters are mad. The brother, Democrat Senator Warnock, actually took the House. He took the seat yesterday. So it looks like the Senate has the actually Senate. The Democrats have the Senate, and maybe President Joe Biden's agenda will be pushed forward a little bit more smoothly after this madness is over. And hopefully, those underprivileged, those in the inner city, and those that are mostly affected adversely by the policies will benefit from this.
Mm, mm.
Yeah,
Facts.
yeah,
You know, I just think that this is a prerequisite, for what's going to happen in the future, the near future. I don't think this is going to go away quietly.
no,
Um, you
no,
know,
certainly not.
I believe that there's a lot of powerful forces behind this movement. It's very deliberate, very planned, orchestrated. Um, I don't think the elections would have changed. The local elections would have changed anything. I think that he was never going to concede, and they're looking for the civil unrest, the civil anarchy, possibly, pushing toward, how far could they take it? A civil war, massive distraction. It just seems like, Ray, before we kind of get things going, that there's certain people behind the scenes in the power structure of this country that make a lot of money and increase their power when there is unrest, distress, chaos, anarchy. It's almost like to distract and destroy and to create melee is when they flourish behind the scenes. I think it's more distraction tactics, and it's to keep the common folks scrambled and divided while they're masterminding increase and in all
For
different
sure.
types of ways. And so I just say to my fellow brothers and sisters out there, be mindful of what's going on socially, but stay focused.
For sure.
Stay focused. Don't drift in an awful way, and don't let yourself be filled with anxiety where you can't win in your endeavors. You know,
For sure.
2021, King.
21,
Coffee and
21,
Convo.
21. Coffee and Convo. Let's start this thing off right. Let's start this
Come
thing
on,
off right.
man.
It won't be right if we didn't start it promoting and letting everybody celebrate and join in with us on this new delicious Caprice
I got the
Premium
bag, and
Deluxe Blend. That's right. That's right.
the bag leads me to the bag. I
That's
got the
it.
bag that leads me to the bag. You
Let's
know,
get this thing
ain't nothing
started.
like instant gourmet coffee. And Ray, they had the nerve to infuse this coffee with the medicinal properties of CBD. You've been studying
Who
that
did that?
CBD? Oh, who
Yes,
did that is
definitely.
Mr. Kenny Lloyd and his
That's
great
right.
partner, Terry LaCour. You know, Kenny Lloyd, let's give a shout out. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, Tava, one of the many business outlets that my partner and I are embarked on. Tava is actually a Hebrew word. It's Hebrew for ark. It's the name of our company. And we all know what ark means from a biblical proportion, a vehicle. And the captain of this vehicle happens to be Mr. Kenny E. Lloyd, a man very, very serious about Black excellence, very serious about entrepreneurship. And he's responsible for bringing to us a delicious gourmet coffee that we can market with the medicinal properties of CBD. So cheers to you. Let's get this coffee ready.
Absolutely. I'm already
And
getting it going. Which you got that
Ray, let me
famous
ask you,
brewing
man.
cup?
Yeah, come on, man. You know we don't play around.
I see. I
Let me ask
see.
you, Ray, how does it feel to be in the coffee space as an
It's
entrepreneur? I mean, to be marketing, to be able to market the number two highest traded commodity on the globe.
as an entrepreneur, this is probably one of the best markets you can be
Yeah.
in for the very same reason that you just
Mm,
mentioned. You're catering to people's needs,
mm,
their habits, and because
mm,
of Kenny E. Lloyd, we put the health into the habit. So it's like this is a great market to be in, and it is so lucrative. It is so lucrative. So I advise all of you
mm.
contact us if you want to be a part of this market, if you want to be a part of this team. We got a lot going over here. We look forward to a great 21 and moving forward.
Cheers to you.
Mm,
Yes. Cheers to
that's
coffee and
something.
convo. Cheers to a conversation with the kings. This gourmet premium black coffee is everything. It's
Everything.
so delicious. No, literally. Now I know what the word invigorating means. Because when you take a
Is that
sip of
right?
this, you feel it vibrate. You feel it vibrate through your whole body.
I'm
And
telling
I'm
you.
not even gonna confess to be the biggest coffee drinker in the world, but this black coffee got me feeling right every time I sip it.
That's it. That's it.
So fam, this is our first episode of the new year. Where you want to take it?
We can go anywhere. We already done touched on what's going on socially around the world. We can go. Let's start with business because after all, that's why we're here. We want to handle the business first. Let's talk about the product. Let's talk about how individuals could come join us over at the Arc. Let's start with this business and then let's figure out because naturally our first network comes from our relationships and let's pick up where we left off talking about how we wind up establishing business relationships with relatives or loved ones and move forward from relationships.
Well, you mentioned relationships, and when I think about relationships as it pertains to business, I'm gonna go right to the most personal relationships, which
Okay.
are the intimate ones that you find yourself in.
Okay.
When you are dating, or when you are, engaged, or when you are married, or when you are have a covenant with another person on an intimate, loving level. And I think this is something that I've been thinking about. We've chopped it up about this before. How crucial it is to pick the right partner, to have the right personal relationship when you know you're an entrepreneur, when you know
For
you're a
sure.
go-getter, when you know
Yep.
you out here grinding, trying to make something out of nothing, or trying to make your empire bigger. You trying to make thousands into millions, or make your millions into your first billion. I'm gonna tell you something. Your partner means everything. Your partner can give you a sense of more increase financially, or they can decrease you.
Yeah.
Your partner can
Yeah.
make you more powerful, or they could deplete you and have you scattered and unfocused. And so
Yeah.
that, we could pass that back and forth. I mean, we're talking about a perspective of putting yourself in a position in 2021 for financial power, to have
Yeah.
more influence, to
Yeah.
find yourself as an example, more respectable. What do you think relationships mean in terms of business? I mean, relationships is a whole bunch of things, but I just wanted
Yes.
to talk about that personal relationship first and foremost.
So there's so many different moving parts to relationship, the relationships that you speak about with your significant other. And I think in business, I think it is very important that you're in a healthy one, not only for the purpose of increase financially, but for the purpose of peace, just in general, because you move better when you're at peace. You move better when you're happy. You're more productive when you're at peace. You're more productive when you're happy. So, choosing the right partnership is definitely very important just in any avenue of life. And I think like that's the hardest thing because I said there's so many different moving parts when it comes to relationship. I think that that is the most challenging thing because your partner may not be someone as business savvy as you. Your partner may not be someone in business at all, but they're an expert in their respective field. They're passionate about something in their own respective area. And that passion is kind of like contagious. It rubs off on you the same way we would hope that our passion, when we share the exciting news or the exciting developments of what we have going on in Tava or any of our other entrepreneur endeavors, we're able to bounce ideas off each other, use each other as sounding boards and things of that nature. And all of those things are important when you think about relationships because we're thinking about growth and development. And in growth and development, we need someone to kind of cultivate that. And so that's why it's so important to me. It's not so much as they have to be in the same business as me. I just think that is very vital that we're able to be each other's sounding board and that we're able to bounce each other ideas off each other and sharing each other's passion. I think that that's very important when
Mm.
it comes to relationships. But it is so tricky. It is so tricky. Why do you think that it's so hard, brother, to find the right one to be in the most this healthy relationship, this relationship that we speak about? Because I think so many of us out here are looking for that, but it is such a challenge. It is such a challenge. Why do you think that that's so hard, brother?
King, I think it's hard. The thing that comes to my mind is people's intentions. Some
Okay.
people come into a relationship and maybe they're not fully complete. They're looking for the relationship to complete them, and that can be distracting to that other party.
Okay.
Maybe they come into a relationship and they may be, a little insecure, and this is male or female.
Absolutely.
Maybe they need more time than you're willing to give. See, I believe that here's the deal. You look at scripture, and you
Okay.
had, Adam in the garden. You had the arrival of Eve, and she came for them two to come together in alignment and fulfill a purpose. Whether it was to
Okay.
tend the ground, to work the garden, um, but they were on purpose and they were in some
Okay.
sort of alignment, and they
Okay.
complemented one another. And it goes back to that whole science of being equally yoked. And I think
Okay.
the problem is when two people bond and they're not equally yoked, they're not in alignment, they don't have a shared purpose. I think there's room for all types of division and frustration and chaos. Okay, because and then the last thing is, um, you know, Ray, you got to go through a development process and really love yourself before you become one with another person.
For
If you
sure.
go into that relationship extremely needy and extremely incomplete, and you're looking for that person to fulfill you, again, you're going to wind up pulling on that person, and they may not be willing to give all that you need because they have pursuits and dreams and goals that are actually their priority. Not that they
Okay.
don't, not that they don't want love, not that they don't want the intimacy, not that they're not capable of receiving love and giving love. It's just that they're on their purpose, they're on their mission, and
Okay.
these type of things I think need to be discussed for two people to really fall into alignment and have a healthy journey. And I agree
Mm,
with you. You don't have to both be entrepreneurs, but you got to both be in alignment with what's most important to the individual.
okay.
And so I ask you, do you share that thought, or before we move on to another topic, let me ask you, what do you think the biggest thing that stops a man and a woman from having, or just a couple period, right, from having a harmonious relationship, specifically when one is a hardcore entrepreneur and they're focused on business and building business?
Okay. So when it comes to relationships, I understand you made the statement of spiritually yoked. I take that to mean compatibility. Am I correct, brother? When we talk about being spiritually
Well,
yoked,
yeah,
equally yoked, pardon me, not
yeah,
spiritually yoked, equally yoked. Are we talking
yeah.
about compatibility?
Compatibility, absolutely, and compatibility from a perspective of not just sharing the same habits or interests, but compatibility and having an understanding of what this relationship is about and what are the goals 3 years, 5 years, 20 years from now. Just being in alignment is what I'm speaking to. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, that's my point. So I still would take that to understand compatibility, and I'm of the belief that compatibility is like one of the single most important thing, and then it goes beyond that. Like I said before, relationships have so many different moving parts, but I will say compatibility being one, discipline being the second one, and a vision being the third one. Compatibility, because obviously we have to be on the same wave. You don't want to necessarily, just because there's two good people in the same room, that doesn't mean that those two good people are compatible with each other. You understand what I'm saying? Because two good people could be
Right,
in the same room, but they could be on
right.
different paths in life. They can have different interests in life. So I think that we need to, number one, have some self reflection, look into ourselves, figure out exactly who it is that we are and what it is that we want to provide to the world, and allow ourselves to gravitate towards those individuals that are on that same track, as opposed to defying nature and forcing ourselves on individuals that don't have that same path. There's not anything wrong with them with being on the same path, but I think far too many times, because I look a certain way and that person looks a certain way, we think that we supposed to be together. And how we look has very little to do with actually what's going on inside our hearts and minds. We could be on completely different tracks, but because we look like we're on the same track, that may mean something. Now, with that being said,
Hmm.
if you do find two people on the same track, then it will boil you down to discipline. So, do we have enough discipline to kind of continue to work together, or are we going to be selfish? And when things aren't going our way, or if one, it's like this tug and pull thing, when things aren't going our way, then we start to like deviate because we don't have the discipline to kind of work with that partner. You chose this partner, you have this partner. Now work with this partner. Once y'all figured out that y'all are compatible, y'all do want the same things, y'all may just choose to go different ways about getting them. But after that, then I think it will boil down to that vision. After the discipline is established, now it's like, okay, how do we work together as a team? Because amalgamation has taken place now. Now we're a team. We have a king and we have a queen that came together because they naturally gravitated towards each other through compatibility. Secondly, they exercise a certain amount of discipline and say, we're going to lay out this plan. And some of these things I'm going to be in total agreement with. Some of these things you're going to be in total disagreement with. But we're going to stay disciplined and work together. Why? Because the vision that we have for ourselves and our lives are identical. And that's how it ends. So it
Right.
starts with compatibility and it ends with that vision. Like I said, there's so many other moving parts to that, but these are three things
Right.
that I think are very, they're very fundamental. It starts with you having a conversation with yourself. Then it starts with you having a conversation with your potential partner. And once you had that conversation with your potential partner and you're not forcing it, but it's going effortlessly, it's fluidly, that you two are compatible. Then you move to the next stage of being disciplined. We're going to go down this track together, and then we write out or plan out this vision, and we stick to this vision. That's what it comes down to in relationships
I
and
feel
business
you.
for me. That's what it comes down to relationships and business to me. What do you
And
think
not
about that?
and making sure you don't compromise. Making sure you don't compromise. Don't compromise your goals and your dreams. Don't compromise, your purpose. Don't compromise it for the wrong person. Don't think that you
Well,
can change a person, right?
okay,
Don't think you can jump into something and you're going to change this person and mold them to be what you need them to be as
yeah,
an asset for your goals and dreams down the road.
yeah.
I would suggest that you don't do that. You know what I
So
mean? And too many people do
those
that.
Those, brother, those are some of those moving parts that I was speaking about because the no compromise,
Right.
I think that unless two people are actually like they have been like cloned, there's going to be some form of compromise. So I understand. So I know what you mean, but I don't want anybody out there to misunderstand as the
Mm.
no compromise as being absolute. Unless they're cloned, there's going to be a certain amount of compromise. There's going to be a certain amount of compromise because
Mm.
in order for two people to make things work or in order for amalgamation to happen, there has to be some like kind of like molding together to become one. So that's called
Mm.
compromise. But you know when it's an overwhelming amount of compromise versus just the natural compromise where we're working together. And that's the discipline that I'm talking about. It's like, okay, I'm this way, you're this way, but I think that these two things could work together. Let's just figure it out. It may not work this way, so let's twist it a little bit and see if it worked that way. That's a compromise as well, brother, because we live in a society
Yeah.
full of social norms and social constructs that kind of like mess with our way of thinking. So I just wanted to throw that out there just so you can,
Be careful. No,
yeah,
no. You
definitely,
know what?
definitely.
We right there. But I'm gonna say be careful. Because there's two phases. In the
Yeah.
beginning, I say no compromise in the beginning because
Okay.
I'm not because in the beginning I'm dealing with principles. Do we have the
Okay.
same principles? Do we share? Are we in alignment spiritually? Do we
Okay.
laugh together? Are we working on being best friends? Can I see you as my best friend? Can I see
Okay.
myself spending the rest of my life with you? Do you inspire me? Do you
Okay.
like? Do you are you a great listener? There's certain
Okay.
elements that there cannot be no compromise. But once we start the journey, then Ray, I'm with you. Once we start the journey, because we got past phase one, there's nothing
Okay.
but compromising as two become one because you've already said we're taking this journey. You know what I mean?
Okay. I
So,
do. I do.
I think when you put it in that perspective, I think everyone can kind of really see it a little bit more clear. And I'm with you. So let me ask you this: with relationships, we're talking about from a perspective of business, and most people are in business in my opinion, because they found a way to add value to someone's
Okay.
life or to a community or to a market. And then at the end of the
Okay.
day, it's to monetize it.
Okay.
We're in a capitalistic society. Business professionals want to be self-made, rich and wealthy, and they pretty much do it by adding a service to a need.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so we covered the fact that the proper relationship will help you win in business.
For sure.
From a money perspective. But how about when we get money out the way, right? Get money out the way, and we're talking about you know the concept of influence
Okay.
and power. I want to ask you your perspective of the right relationships as it pertains to you, Ray, being a
Okay.
man of influence, a man of power. How does that help you or hurt you as far as relationships are concerned?
Okay. So again, relationships is it's such a tricky topic because, you know, we can't see, it's what's unseen that two people often gravitate towards each other. So when it comes to business and when it
Mm.
comes to power, I would say naturally gravitate and cultivate the relationships that are for you. And when I say that, I mean the relationships that make you better, the relationships that contribute to your growth and development, the relationships that challenge you in a positive way, but not in a negative way, because that will in turn make you more powerful in your respective field. And when you two are together as a unit, where that respect is there, when people see two couples in the presence of the public and behind closed doors, there's a certain amount of respect established. That is powerful. So there's nothing more powerful than a couple actually working together in unity and it being authentic. I'm not talking about a relationship where they're putting on airs
Authentic.
and in public or on a social media platform, they're constantly posting pictures and they look good together. However, there are individuals behind closed doors looking at the relationship, knowing full well that that relationship is a sham, knowing full well that that relationship is not what it appears to be. So for me, I would rather have an authentic, real thorough relationship based on the principles that we just spoke about previously and allow that relationship to manifest itself so I can be a true demonstration of power and unity and just the way a kingdom should look, where the king and queen is sitting rightfully in their positions and they're solid. They're solid. So that's what power looks like to me. That's what power looks like to me. And it's so powerful in every regard within our community, within a business, and within any other regard. So that's what it looks like to me. But for you, brother, I will ask you this question. Aside from power, what is the emphasis? Like, how important to you and what does respect look like to you in your personal relationship with your significant other? And if you guys happen to be in a relationship, a business partnership, what does respect look like in that dynamic?
Wow, what a great question. Um, respect is everything. Respect
Okay.
is everything. I think respect is a tree, and you have one branch that is honor. One branch is loyalty. One big branch is the ability to listen. One
Okay.
branch is healthy communication. Respect is everything.
Okay.
I don't have a relationship in my life today that's not fostered on respect.
Okay.
And I can't imagine being in a household or being in a covenant and a commitment with another human being where respect was not the underlying foundation. Ray, I
Okay.
think respect starts, when two people that love each other, that are in a relationship and they're doing business together, one way or another, the respect goes into the same thing that you have to have with every business partner. But with an intimacy, it's got to start with high level communication. And high
Yeah.
level communication, when it comes to respect, is being able to communicate with a partner where you can be an emotional listener. I want to
Okay.
go with listening, Ray.
Okay.
I want to go with listening because an entrepreneur who is a visionary and full of proactive energy has always got a lot on his mind. And you got to
Okay.
be able to share that with your sacred partner. You got to be able to share it. So let's say, for instance, I'm looking at my world. That queen has to be a master listener. She's got to
Okay.
listen with empathy. She's got to listen with compassion. And then I have to be a master listener as someone who can be on 10, right? We can be on 100 going for it. We have to be able to humble ourselves and listen to the queen because she's going to give you the wisdom.
For
She's going to
sure.
give you the answer to your questions. She's going to show you how to navigate through that maze. And if you're
Okay.
not a master listener and you can't, check your ego, you're going to miss all your blessings. So the
Okay.
respect, in my opinion, when it comes to business, comes down to being a master listener as a man.
Okay.
And also having a mate that's a master listener so you can therapeutically express yourself.
Okay.
Therapeutically express yourself to a safe haven, a safe place, and then
Okay.
get back the information that you need. So I go with listening as the key to respect in a relationship. And so I ask you, where do you see respect as it pertains to? I want to focus on a man and a woman, a king and a queen, whether they're both in business alignment or one is the business head and the other one's just there to support.
Okay.
Where does that go for you?
So for me, I think it's, just like everything else in a relationship, I think that respect, because sometimes respect gets thrown around and is used against you, and sometimes you use it for you. So if you have an individual, naturally, because we're creatures of emotions, and sometimes when we're emotionally driven, we'll take this thing called respect and misuse it for your own good and say, okay, well, the fact that you're not devoting enough time to this relationship, you're disrespecting me. Or the fact that you're doing business with this person and I don't like them, you're disrespecting me. Or the fact that I don't agree with this thing and you're still doing it anyway, you don't respect me. So I think that those boundaries of respect, it's a constant line of communication that needs to be had between the king and queen in order to know how are we defining this term respect in this regard? Because it has to be contextualized. It has to be contextualized because, like I said, when it comes to business, there are so many things that men and women have to do. They have to be in so many different places at one time. They have to, and specifically entrepreneurs, because we don't have the luxury to punch a clock and then pull out. But then again, the benefit to that is sky is the limit what we can do in business. So that's why I accept entrepreneurship. But at the same time, you have to constantly have this line of communication or this dialogue with your partner about respect and whether they feel that level of respect when you're doing business as an entrepreneur, or if you guys are in business together and naturally you're working with both genders and things of that nature. Because this line can get blurred real fast if you're not constantly having this conversation. You know?
Right.
I see you laughing over there. What's that
Absolutely, bro.
about?
No,
Share your
because
thoughts with me. What's going on?
the lines can get blurred. I mean, you can
Yeah,
find yourself in a gray area really quick. And once one partner feels that they're not being respected, or one partner feels, they're being disrespected, and the
yeah,
communication is not there, you got
yeah,
chaos.
yeah.
You have nothing but fertile soil for more issues, more distractions, more misery, and more negativity. So, I absolutely feel that way. I feel 100% that there could be no gray area. You got to communicate through it so people understand. Ray, what you got to know what respect means to me.
Yeah.
I just said a general overview of it starts with great listening. But there's
Okay.
so many variables to what you need to feel respected. There's so many variables to what I need to feel respected. And we can't go around assuming that people know this stuff. People not going to know your needs. So you got to communicate with them. And that's why I laugh, because so many people don't understand the power of communication. They do
I
it
think,
during the courting stage,
yeah,
but 6 months, 1 year, 3 years down the road, all of a sudden the communication gets funny style. You know why? Because now you assume that I know you. You assume I've mastered you. No, 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 no.
got you. I think we
Communicate,
got a question, brother.
you know.
Somebody asked the question: is respect earned or automatic in business? You want me to take that or you
Woo,
going to
that's
take
a
it?
good one. No, I mean, listen, the floor is yours, King, and I'll see if I can add on.
So is respect earned or automatic in business? I would say respect should always be given. I'm not of the belief that, you have to earn my respect. I say
Mm.
respect should always be given. And I'm not of the belief that if you don't earn my respect, then I'm gonna disrespect you. If I cannot respect you, I'm just not going to deal with you. And to me, that makes the most sense because once you start playing this play on respect, then you're dealing with power, which is one of our other taglines. You're dealing with power. So now it's this shift in power because now people are using respect interchangeably. Like, okay, so you didn't do X, Y, Z, so I don't respect you. Or you did. It's just too much. For me, respect does not have to be earned in business. When I meet and greet someone, I'm going to start it with respect. And we're going to maintain that certain level of respect based on professionalism. And if I start to see that professionalism decline to the point where I can't respectfully do business with you, then I just won't do business with you at all. But for me, the answer would be you definitely you start with respect in business. What do you think about that, brother?
Oh, there's nothing more to say. We can go to the next question. 100%.
Okay, okay. That's important because a lot of people believe this. Power, power. The next question is, what does power look like in business and relationships? You take that one, brother.
Well, you can see it. You can see a man. You ever see Barack Obama's swagger, the way he used to walk?
I
You
do.
see the way he.
I do.
Let me tell you something. That's what it looks like when you have a Michelle Obama by your side. You walk different, you talk different, you dress different, your skin glows different, the food you
That's right.
eat is more clean and righteous. You know what I mean? You attract better business partners. She helps
Okay.
close the deals. What does power look like in business and relationships? It looks like a swagger of unstoppable proportion, an energy of unstoppable success.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. You lose on his own, and
You
then
hit
when
it on
he's
the
in that
nose.
anointed covenant, he is now glowing with potential and success. Power in business and success and relationships means that you are now in a position to close the deal on all of the dreams you've been working on as an individual.
For sure.
You know,
For sure.
that's how
So
I
for
see it.
me,
That's what it looks like. It looks like a win. Go ahead.
absolutely. So for me, power looks like success in business and relationships. That's what it looks like. When we think about the top elected official, the top CEOs, when we look at them, we see that they reach their highest point that they can be when they're in a successful relationship. Now, I'm not talking about frayed relationships, relationships based on one person being an opportunist versus the other, but I'm talking about two solid relationships and they happen to be in business partnerships. It just looks like success. Why? Because two minds are better than one. And when you have two pure minds both working
Period.
towards the same goal, how could you lose with that? How could you lose with that? Two compatible people with the same vision, having the same conversation, working towards the same dreams and goals. It just looks like success. Now, the variable to that is
Absolutely.
a toxic relationship, an unhealthy relationship in business will give you the opposite result. It will give you failure.
Absolutely.
Even if you succeed monetarily, it will give you failure psychologically, mentally, and in every other regard. Socially, it will give you failure. Because if you don't have peace in your heart, I don't care what kind of business you're in or what it is that you're doing, what your goals are in life. If you're in a healthy relationship, you're going to be better. If you're in a toxic relationship, you're going to be less than. And so that's the problem when it comes to business and relationship. And relationships are so very
And you know
tricky,
what?
as I said in the beginning. Go ahead, brother.
Mm-hmm. You know what it is, family, and it comes down to happiness.
Yes,
I think that a great relationship makes you happy. It makes you happy all day.
for sure.
And when you're happy, your wins go up. Your
Yeah,
wins go up. And I could it be that corny? Could it be that simple? That the happier you are, it's almost like the more power you emanate, the more power
absolutely.
you give off, the more power
Yeah,
you attract. I mean, the relationship be pretty much gas all day. I mean, if you were
yeah,
just glowing and feeling great,
yeah,
I mean, it's the
yeah.
bottom line. What's the next question we got out there?
Who should serve the food in relationships?
Wow. Hey, listen, I'm old school. Listen, I'm gonna go first, right? And then I'm gonna
Okay,
let you smooth it out with your expertise, diplomacy,
okay,
smooth operator. You're gonna be the mayor of Irvington or the governor of New Jersey, real
okay.
soon. And so smooth it out with diplomacy. But it all matters if you go with cliche traditionalism. Sometimes I like cliche traditionalism. I think 2020, you'd be a fool to not be flexible
Hey, I don't know what's going on, so I'm gonna take this question until my partner get back. Look like we have some technical difficulties. I'm gonna tell you off top who should serve food in a relationship. Both of y'all, both parties, because a relationship is a partnership, and in a partnership, one hand washes the other. It takes two hands to clap. You got the right hand, you got the left hand. I think that if something is wrong with one, I think the other one should go ahead and serve the food. And if I think whoever beat each other to the stove, I think that it should be a competition in a relationship. I think it should be a competition who could serve each other the best. I don't think that there should ever be a thing where she should serve the food or he should serve the food. I'm saying who makes it home soon enough, who has it on their hearts and mind to prepare the best meal, and then they present it to their partner. I think that if we get caught up in these gender roles, I think that it's never been the greatest thing for us. But I think in today's society, I think that would pose a big problem to get caught up in these gender roles as pertains to who should serve things like the food, who should do the laundry and things like that. Because me specifically, I have it on my mind. If I have something in my mind where I want to make a certain dish, I want to get there and make it. If I want to wash clothes, I want to get there and wash the clothes because it's therapeutic to me. If I want to clean the house because it's therapeutic to me, I want to do that thing. So I don't get stuck in gender roles. So I don't believe that it's a thing where one person should serve the food versus the other. I wouldn't care if you couldn't cook. In a partnership, that person loves you. And if they love you, if you didn't like the food, you're probably still going to eat it. And guess what? We're going to go back to the kitchen and we're going to do it right together the next time, because that's what a partnership is. That's my position on it, brother. Now, what was you saying?
Well,
Now,
I'm
what
gonna
was you
try
saying?
again.
Let me hear you.
Hey, Ray, I'm not stuck on gender roles, but I
Okay.
do understand them. I do
Okay.
understand them. So let's say, for instance, I'm earning. Let's just do something light. I'm earning 250,000 a year.
Okay.
You know, as a quote unquote alpha male entrepreneur, and I'm out
Okay.
there from home, out in the streets, giving it 40, 50 hours a week, and I've
Okay.
afforded my queen because of her choice. Because this is loaded, but because of her choice, I've afforded my queen what we call a domesticated lifestyle, where she can
Okay.
run a business from home if she chooses. She works for no other man. She works for
Okay.
no other man. And all she does is what she wants to do. And what she
Okay.
wants to do is keep a home as a safe haven for her family. What she wants to do is raise beautiful children with principles and morals. And what she wants to do is provide nutrition for her family, because she wants us to have a plant-based diet. And and there's this dynamic of old school principles that I've went out, and my focus is to protect and provide. And for
Okay.
some reason, this queen has the instincts to nurture and serve. And I'm like, no one's told anyone what to do, but these instinctive qualities kicked in, and I come in because I provided a lifestyle. See, you are a clown if you have expectations from a woman and you haven't provided her lifestyle. I think you're a
Okay.
clown. But if you have
Okay.
provided extraordinary lifestyle with extraordinary freedoms, I
Okay.
believe a queen is going to want to serve you once you come into that home, knowing you have to be nourished. If I got to
Okay.
go out and make 250 and come home and make my own food, I'm going to look at you crazy. Like, what do I need you for? No, no, no. And I know this is going to, all red flags are going up, but let's just keep it
Yeah.
real. I'm going to
Okay.
have expectations. If I'm providing, I'm going to have because the service is therapeutic. A black
Okay.
man needs to be served. I go through too much pain in this world. I go through too much discrimination.
Okay.
We're in the townhouse, we're in this high luxury apartment. In the
Yeah.
elevator, the white woman was clutching her purse just because I
Yeah.
was in there. So I'm going through
Yeah.
too much.
Okay.
When I come into that home, it must be a rest haven of support and therapy if I provided this queen extraordinary lifestyle of peace
Okay.
and serenity, and I've given her love. And so, yes, I believe in those traditionalisms, and I believe that there's times of reciprocity when I will serve as well. But
Okay.
I love gender roles from that perspective, and I am a
Okay.
type of man who loves to be served because it makes me go harder.
Okay. Okay. I could dig that. I definitely could dig that. And I catch your point in being served and all the plight that you had to go through out in the world. But I'm still of the belief if you said at the end that you will serve her at times, then I'll take that. I'll take
Absolutely.
that. For me,
I was
for me,
served. She had bubble baths with roses and all types
yeah,
of wine, and
absolutely.
and serving
Okay.
might be going out to a 5-star restaurant 3 times a week. I'm going to
Yeah.
serve. We're going to have a great time, but you're going to remind me intellectually, socially, and historically that you are in love with this king, and you're going to
Okay.
remind me that I'm a king through service. It's a game.
Okay.
It's a game of
Okay.
psychology. If my wife
Okay.
doesn't remind me that I'm a king, then what are we doing here? And
So,
she got to know me. You might, some of us, all of us of men are different. I'm the
okay.
type of man, they got those love languages. And,
Yeah.
some men have a love language of service and words of
Yeah.
edification, and that makes
Yeah.
them feel unstoppable. And that's the type of
Got you.
queen some of us would need.
Got you. Definitely. Well, I'm glad we had this dialogue because I need them to understand. I need them.
Yeah.
I need the world, Tava Nation, Facebook world. I need everybody to understand this dialogue that we don't always 100% agree on things, but this is what I'm talking about. It goes back to our initial point. It goes back to compatibility, not forced compatibility. It goes back to
Right.
natural compatibility, and having this conversation with your significant other to be. What works for you? What works for me? I think that that's what it boils down to. Because for me, in a partnership, in a relationship, we spinning off each other. Whatever we get to,
Right.
like I'm going to serve you, you're going to serve me. It's not going to be no measuring stick on that. It's not going to be, well, I did this, you did that. No, it's going to be our job every day is to please each other because we're in this partnership and we're in a relationship that we choose to be in, not a relationship out of convenience or obligation, but a relationship that we choose to be in. So therefore, we're doing our best to make each other happy. I serve you, you serve me, no measuring stick to that. With that being said, we're gonna get ready to close out because I know there's a lot of questions out there. You might get jumped running
Yeah.
down the street, and then you might get proposed to. So it's gonna be a mixed bag for you. Some women gonna say, "Hey, King, will you marry me?" And some women gonna say, "How dare you in 2021 talking about serve
Yeah.
you?" So
Oh, I'm all good with it. I'm good with it.
absolutely, that's why we're here. We're here to provoke each other to think. We're here to share some light on things. We're here to invite you all. Share your questions with us. Talk to us. Let us know what you want to talk about. Give us some feedback. Share Coffee and Convo. Join us in the arc. Do whatever it is you want to engage with us. This is why we're here. This is why we're here. Brother, let them know.
Hey, listen, in closing, it was an honor to share this platform with you, King. God bless you and your family. I wish you the best 2021, best year of your life. And to all
You
the
as
viewers,
well.
we love you guys. Please share and like this broadcast. Join us next week. We promise to deliver you just intellectual, just discernment from two kings that want to add value to your life. So God
For
bless you
sure.
all. Hey, listen, this broadcast is officially over. We'll see you next week.
That's it. Peace, brother.